Hello friends, welcome to my channel KBS Technocraft and Python tutorial day 2. I hope you had a chance to check out my previous tutorials for day 1 and you have installed the Python and editor for coding exercise. If not, then I would request you to please go through that. You can find the link in description. Day 1 tutorials covers a lot of important information for Python development environment setup and basic of Python that could be useful to you as prerequisite for these tutorials. Today we are going to learn loops in Python. In Python there are two kind of loops are available, for and while. Before we move for exercise, we will try to understand what is loops and what is for loop and what is while loop, and then we'll take an example and we'll try to do that. Okay, so let's consider loops. In in Python, a loop is a way to execute a block of code repeatedly. There are two types of loop in Python, for loop and while loop. The for loop is used to iterate over a sequence such as list, tuple, string, or any collection and execute the block of code for each item in the sequence. The syntax of the for loop is for the item sequence, and then you can write subsequent commands, what command or set of statement which you want to execute it. Okay, so let's understand that for loop first and then we'll come back and try to understand the while loop. So I have opened Visual Studio Code and then I have this code there. So let's understand this first and then we will try to understand the array. So first here, what I have done it here, I have created a for loop which run on given range. For example, I have given a range 1 to 11. That means it's going to run from 1 to 10. That means the min starting of this loop is 1 and the max limit is less than 11. So if I run this code and okay, so if you see here it's start from 1 to 11. If I make it 1 to 2, let's make it 1 to 2 here, then the range is start from 1. And if you see only 1. If I make it 3, then let me run this, you'll be able to see 2. Now let me clean this output window. So I will just put here and then if I run this, you will be able to see 1 and 2. If I make it 11, it will give you 1 to 10. So this is how it's work on range. Now let's say consider you have a collection, either the array or list. In that case, how you loop it. So in that case, let's say consider I have declared a array of fruits where apple, banana, cherry and mangoes are there, and I want to loop it for all elements in this particular array. So if I run it here, you will be able to see apple, banana, cherry, mango. Now we'll move on the while loop. Basically, while loop, on the other hand, it used to execute a block of code repeatedly as long as the condition, the terminate condition is not become true. For example, let's say consider example of this is this where I have a while loop and I'm trying to print the count till the terminator or till this condition is not getting false. For example, I am trying to print count and incrementing one by one. So it should be less than 10. So it's started from 0, first 0 and then it will become 1 and then 2 and then 3 until 9. So if I run it, you can see it's a 0 to 9. If I make it, let's say consider if I make it 4, then it will be 0, 1, 2, 3. You can share this. So in while loop, it always check this condition, if this condition is true, then in that case, it will be keep executing. As long as this condition is true, it will keep executing. As soon as this count become greater than 4, in that case, what will happen? It will not execute this statement because this condition does not become true and it will not come inside this. Okay, let's consider other example where we are going to write a program of Fibonacci series by using while loop. So let's say consider I have a program written here and I just try to paste it here and see on this. So what is the Fibonacci series? Fibonacci series basically in series of number where every third number in that series is the sum of last two digits. For example, 1, 1, and then 2, then 3, then 5, and then 8. So if you see, the 2 is sum of the previous two numbers, and 3 is sum of the previous two number, 8 is sum of previous two numbers. So here in this program, what we are trying to do that we are trying to write the Fibonacci series of this particular Fibonacci series number where the numbers are less than 100. That means it should not go, the series will stop as soon as it's reached 100 or less than 100. Sorry, less than 100. So if I run it here, it will give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 8, 13,